Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and I am pumped. I have the one and only Brittany Stone on the podcast with me for our book club. Britt, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Book club day is always fun. I tell you, I know people wish they could be part of our actual live book club with Dental Team. I've heard it from clients before, but we've got a pretty good one.
We do. And Britt, we are thinking of shaking up our book club for 2025, of adding in a little more fiction. Not sure how you guys feel about that. So be sure to email in. Do you want us to solely stick with dental books? Do you want us to cut the book club? Or do you want to roll into our fiction? Britt has been banned from choosing the ones Britt and I book club on, which are very dicey topics. We will not even share the ones we book club on. They're not bad. They're just very, very, very charged of, I don't know. It's not even
they make you think that there's some of those ethical or different things that you're like, what do I think about that? So it's more of stretching the mind on things, not like bad books.
Exactly. No, I should clarify that. It sounded like you were reading these steamy books. No, we just like the ones that challenge our ethical minds and make us question. It's kind of like those, if you think about, I remember there was a one, the dad's the train person and the tracks are there and he hears this little boy and it's like, you could either save your child or you can save a train of 500 people. What are you going to do? I hope and pray I'm never in that position, but Britt loves to bring these juicy ones up like that. Britt, we're not even going to talk about it because I would cry. Luckily I don't have a child, so I wouldn't even have to make that decision. That is the one benefit of failed IVF.
Hey, you got nieces and nephews. It must be a family trait. I've got one niece that she was asking her mom at Sunday dinner when our family was together, would you save me or the dog? So,
I mean,
because she does love the dog.
Britt, would you save me or Birdie?
So you want to know what I told my niece? And here's where I just get we'll get back to the book. Don't worry, guys. It's a tangent. I told my niece to give her a hard time. I'm like, well, you can walk and get yourself out of the house. The dog might get lost. You're smart enough to help yourself, but the dog may not. So
what if I'm stuck in bed, Britt, decrepit, I can't move, and Birdie is Birdie? Who are you going to save then?
Both. Pick them up. One in each arm. Let's go.
Well, on that note, that's how our book clubs usually shake out. So maybe one day, Britt, we might actually host a live book club. If you guys want that, let me know. We could do a live webinar style and have you guys come give the book. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. I don't know. We might do it. We might not. Let us know if you're interested.
I don't know if that's fun or not. It's kind of a nerdy thing. We know you guys, you're dental nerds out there. You're listening to us and you're reading books with us. So maybe it's interesting.
Maybe you'd want to. So let us know. Email hello@thedentalateam.com. Let me know. There's two things I'm dying to know. One, should we stick with business books for next year? Two, I lied. I want three things. This is how I roll. Britt knows it's going to turn to three. Two, should we keep the book club for 2025? And three, would you want to attend a book club live with us? Because I could even do a live podcast. So let us know if you want to do that. One, should we change to fiction? Two, should we keep it going? And three, do you want to attend a live book club with us? Let us know. Email in hello@thedentalateam.com. If I hear from none of you, we're eliminating the book club, and Britt and I are just going to do our own ethical dilemma ones on our own that you'll never know about. So, but we're here for it. If it's serving you, that's ultimately the podcast is for you. And just want to say thank you all for being our listeners and part of our Dental Team podcast family. We're hoping several of you actually join our Dental Team in-person family. Speaking of meeting us in person, next year, 2025, we are releasing business and leadership events. They're happening. We're super freaking jazzed to meet a lot of you. It's part of our platinum consulting now. So be sure to reach out if you're interested, if you want to meet us. They're going to be incredible. I call it basically these events are going to be fun because it's Dental Team, of course. They're a day and a half on a Friday and a Saturday. And I call them we're stripping it down to the bones of your business, to literally get down to what's really going on. Let's figure out what the issues are. And then let's make you a map of clarity when you leave. And it's for doctors and OMs to come to. So that way, doctors, you don't just come and get jazzed up and then have to go get your team on board, but you literally can come and be with us in person. So Britt, Tiff, Dana, myself, Christy, all of our consultants, you're going to meet a lot of the Dental Team in person. So one, if you want to meet us, come join us. But two, I really think it's an incredible opportunity to basically like mastermind with other doctors, but like mastermind so cliche. And we're actually doing it a lot differently. And it's built on your life. It's built on your business. We're having you really like I said, it's like a full autopsy of your practice in front of other offices to where we can give you the nuts and bolts of what you need to do to be successful and to have your dream life and your dream practice. So we're super excited. We're going to do this every quarter. But 2 in-persons next year. So reach out, hello@thedentallyteam.com. Britt and I are pumped about it. Tiff and I are giddy. We have been dreaming of doing this for a few years. So there is limited spacing. So before end of year, be sure to get in. I would love to have you be a part of it. And prices do go up in 2025. So be sure to get in 2024 because I like to save you money. And it's also a great tax write-off. So if you've been thinking about it, you've been wondering if I should do consulting, the answer is stop thinking and start deciding and execute. Let's make 2025 thriving rather than surviving. So Britt, on that, Who Not How. This is actually excellent. The book is Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. Dan Sullivan makes me like have a good time because I actually met Dan Sullivan in real life. So that was really fun. It was awesome. And this book is really about, instead of thinking about how do I do this myself, who can I hire? Who can I elevate out to be able to do this faster and more effectively? And honestly, Britt, as I didn't even mean to tie these together, but think about a consultant. Like, why are you trying to run your practice on your own? Why are you trying to rally your team? Why are you trying to figure out how to run this practice successfully when literally there's the Dentally Team consultants, there's other consultants as well, that can do it better, faster, more efficiently than you can? Why are you spending your time? And so even for this, like Britt, it goes back to the book club of buy back your time. If you know you're hourly, so like, let's do what's a general dollar per hour for a usual doctor, Britt. Like, let's not go high end, let's not go low end. What's usually a dollar per hour for a dentist?
Well, and they say even go from yearly. So like, what's a yearly salary for a dentist? Let's say, we know our dentists do a lot better than this, but let's start with an easy number just to make it simple. And let's say 100,000. We know you're doing more, but let's say 100,000 to make easy math.
If you're not doing more than that, you should definitely still call because our doctors are usually doing 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 take home. That's like on the low end as well. We have some doctors taking home in the millions, which is great. And I geek out about that. I don't care about your number. I care about your life. And we ultimately build your take home pay based on what you want your life to be. So, okay. So if you are making 100,000, if you are doing a task that's below that $100,000 a year mark, you should be delegating it out. And like, that's the whole idea between buy back your time and who, not how. And I think like a really easy analogy on this that I actually like, I tested this, Britt. I don't know if I told you this. I tested this summer, and my husband, he's been wanting to get some projects done. Like literally, Britt, I wanted him to figure out there's a 457B plan. There's, which was going to save us a lot on taxes from his perspective. And there were some other things he wanted to do. There were different positions. Like he just had all these different projects he wanted to do. So this summer I decided to be a helpful wife, and I thought about it, and I'm like, he is freaking mowing the lawn every single week. And he's always telling me like, Kiera, I have to work on the yard, so I can't do all these projects. So I just hired a lawn care company. I knew what Jason's hourly was. I knew what his salary was. And not to say that Jason can't do it, because Jason loves doing the lawn. Like he really does. He says he enjoys it. But I didn't even tell him. I just wanted to test this theory of buy back your time and who, not how, and like, does this really work? So we hired this lawn care crew because our lawn literally looked terrible. So I had a good edge that way because I don't know what happened. My family's a lawn business team and we could not get this grass to grow this year. I hired them. Britt, I kid you not. We had this lawn care crew for 2.5 months. Okay. So I didn't have them for a long time. In those 2.5 months, Jason got his 457B plan set up. He got this whole retirement thing done. He got like, there were so many projects on his list that Jason just checked off. And he's like, man, like, yeah, I got this scheduled. I got this scheduled. And I told him at the end when he's like, we should get rid of the lawn care crew. I said, yes, like our grass is dead at this point and it became fall. So it was an easy cancellation. But I said, is it crazy that I think they charged me, I think they were $35 to come and mow our like teeny tiny backyard a week is what we were paying. But my husband was making more than that. And so I was like, let me just try this experiment. It was like $200 a month is what we were paying for it. And yet that 457B plan is exponentially, that's a $23,000 piece for $250. And like, this is the whole principle of like, when we eliminate those projects that we can and delegate them out, you're able to buy back so much of your time. Who, not how, like, how are we going to figure out how to mow the lawn and do all these things? And I know that sounds like something so funny, but it's crazy because when you have the time available to do it and you're not trying to figure out how to do it all, you actually can grow exponentially. So thinking back to the doctor trying to figure all the pieces out, that's actually where I think a consultant is a great bang for your buck, because 1, we put production on your schedule. 2, we reduce your overhead. 3, we take care of your team for you. 4, we have all the secrets of how to get there and we'll just share every one of them with you. And we cost less than what it's going to cost you to bring a whole employee into your practice. So I mean, it wasn't intentionally meant to be a consultant plug, but I think like even the math for our logical people, the math's really well of how to do this. And it's really thinking of how can we stop thinking of how I can do this myself and who. But Britt, you're my financially savvy person. You're the person who's like, I'll figure it out. I can do this. What's your take on this book club? Because I ran the experiment. Jason's like a freaking penny pincher, which is fine. Like, it's great to have that. I just was curious if we'd actually get things done if he didn't have to do it, and he did. So I ran the experiment and I saw it worked. But Britt, what's your take? Let's rally on our book club of back and forth.
Yeah, and I like looking at what it costs, right, and what you're making and what you can outsource to someone else. I'm like, I pick 100,000 because it's easy to multiply. I know in a 40-hour work week, it's $50. So if you're making double that, triple that, quadruple that, whatever it is, it's easy math to do to see what you could be making, right, with your time versus what you're paying out to someone else. So you said what? It costs $35 or something for them to come mow your lawn. How long would it take Jason to do that job?
So usually it would take Jason about an hour to an hour and a half, because like he'd just piddle out there and like then he'd go pick the weeds and then he'd do this and then he'd do that. So he's usually out there for like an hour to 2 hours. But what was actually happening is I think it was more the mental real estate time, not just the actual time on it, because he's like, oh, I got to get the lawn done. Oh, I've got to get the lawn done. So every night that was mental real estate in him too, outside of the actual time that it was taking him. So that's why he wasn't getting any of his other projects done, because he was saying, I need to get this 457B plan done. But yet the higher real estate was the grass that doesn't stop growing that he knew he needed to get out there. So I'm like, yes, hourly, he was out there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, which if we do the $50, that's $100. We're only paying 35. It's still a net positive. But it was also the mental real estate that I'm like, let's just check up at least like 1 to 2 more hours a week that Jason was stressed about it, trying to figure it out, going to Home Depot to get the blah, 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 whatever he was buying. Like, let's just say on an average week, we're like, let's not be over the top, but let's say it's 2 hours every single week. That's right there. If we're $50, that's $100 a week and it's 35. That's $65 of extra time that we've bought. And your time's worth more than that as well.
Yep, and you're doing the higher value tasks. Agreed here, right? Like whether it's the time or it's the mental energy to go do those tasks that are definitely a higher value. So for our penny pinchers out there, sometimes it's like, is it really worth it? Yes, because you can do much higher level, more productive things with your time over people who also do it way more efficiently than I do, right? Mowing the lawn, I guarantee you it doesn't take them an hour and a half to mow those lawns because they do it all day, every day, and they're super efficient at it, and that's their profession, and they're great. So I'm like, awesome. One, they get it done faster, doesn't cost me that much. I get to open up time to do things that are higher level. Fantastic. And that's just an example of life. And for doctors, you also have lawns. And do I hear some of my clients that is like, oh, I did the best thing, right? That is one thing I'm not doing anymore. So you've got your home things and you've got your business things to look at to see who, not how. So you're not trying to cram all these things, feeling like you're running ragged and kind of burning the candle at both ends. But you can look for those things that you can outsource, delegate if we've got the bandwidth to do it, so that you're looking for that person that's who and not how you're going to fit all the things in.
Yeah. And I think it's just an interesting perspective of when you start to think of who, not how, it actually, I feel, takes like a mental lift off of you too, like off of your shoulders. You no longer having to carry this. Cause I think so many doctors who reach out to us for consulting, they're doing the payroll, they're doing the HR, they're doing the policies, they're doing the dentistry, they're doing the management, they're doing the schedule, they're doing the time off requests. Like, there's so many, and then they're trying to be a parent or a spouse or an individual dating, like whatever it is, they're trying to do that. And then you're trying to juggle your house tasks as well. Like, I've got to get the dinner made and I've got to get these items done, or I've got to take the trash out. I've got to mow the lawn. So in all the aspects of our life, looking to see who could actually we delegate this to. And maybe we just start with small things. But I think about like in the book, they talk about there's the collaboration and there's the delegation, like Britt was saying. So who could we collaborate with? Who could we delegate? I know Britt, Tiff, Shelby, and I just had a really good in-person meeting. And it was crazy to think of like, and then we did it with our marketing team of who's the most efficient at getting this done. Mm-hmm. Tiff has said that. Tiff can write a newsletter for you guys, which by the way, I hope you guys are all getting that. The consultants like truly, I feel like they write you love letters every week in their newsletters. They just truly want you to be successful. So if you haven't subscribed to our newsletters, be sure to, I think it's on the website. Is that how you get it? I don't actually know. Email us, hello@thedentallyteam.com. And then Britt, let's make a note, task marketing. It should be on our website to subscribe to the newsletter. This is how we delegate, guys, right there. Britt, talk to marketing. There you go. You're welcome. But like we talked about it and we're like, who's the most efficient at writing the newsletters? If it takes Britt an hour to write a newsletter, but Tiffany can do it in 15 minutes, well, Britt's a lot stronger at writing policies, procedures, operations. Let's split our tasks. That takes Tiff a lot longer. It's creative brains and logical brains as well. So who can we collaborate and delegate with? And then leveraging others' expertise. And this is where I think like coaches, different mentors, different people, like as an office manager, I wanted a mentor so bad because I'm trying to just fumble through and figure this stuff out rather than learning from someone else. And then he says, focus on what you're good at, stop worrying about the process, and then clarify your outcome. So just thinking of this who, not how, like leveraging other expertise, like other people can mow a lawn a lot better than Jason can. And so doing that allowed Jason then to work on higher value. Like I said, it was $250 is how much. So for the 2 months that I had them, it was $500, I think is what I spent on our lawn care. And Jason was able to figure out, this was just one of the projects he did. It's a $23,000 investment into our retirement fund. So we think about it, $500 compared to $23,000. I think we often bog ourselves down and don't realize like, these tasks will actually move you forward personally, professionally, exponentially. Like our doctors were adding 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. Our fee is anywhere from 24,000 to 50,000. But like you're making $100,000, so stop doing it. And I know it can be very scary. So Britt, how do you, within the book, within your own personal life, how do you get past that? Like it's scary to spend the money and hope the experiment works. Jason was adamant. He was not super excited about me because the first lawn mow was $75 and he's like, I could do it better than that, which is true. But yet, like I can give you this math equation. It's almost like how do you let go of the vine and trust and like jump into the process when maybe things already feel tight or already feel scary or already feel like how do you do that and get past that mental block from your perspective?
I know. I think it's trying something simple first, like honestly, right? Even if it's like mowing the lawn, right? And you see, all right, what can I get done? It's starting with something simple that's maybe, isn't as scary to you to do it. And you'll start to realize that it's beneficial. And I love how you said, even the things that are going to think about something new you're doing or something you're trying to do and the amount of time you might spend researching, trying to figure it out, trying, not having it go well, right? Kind of running that circle and the amount of time that it takes, where sometimes it is just hiring someone that's an expert about it to be able to get you there so much faster. And I'll tell you, I think that some of our gunners out there that we work with, right? True entrepreneurs, our dentists that are like, yep, they've got big dreams, they've got big goals, and it's fantastic. And they realize this principle. I think they've learned this principle already that like, great, who can I hire? Who can I get to help me that's going to get me there faster? Because time is an opportunity cost, right? So like, you're like, oh, it's just my time. No, there's a cost associated with your time, and you can be doing things that are a much better use of your time to move things forward. If you've got, hey, most efficient way to do it, bring someone in, hire someone to do it. And that's part of who, not how.
Yeah.
I'd say try something simple first if you need to. And you start to realize, oh my gosh, most people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I did that. Right. And then, all right, what's the next thing?
For sure. And as you were saying it, Britt, it actually made me think back to, we have a pretty good like pool of doctors to look at to see how they're doing. And we have different tiers in consulting. And for all of our clients that listen, please know that I see you, I respect you. There's no judgment because everyone's at their own space. I have noticed though that there is a trend with the doctors who go for the platinum. So whether they're coming in person to our events or the ones that we're flying to their practices and they have the one-on-one consultant, they exponentially, like without fail, are always the practices that move forward the fastest. And I think it's the same thing of like virtual training with a gym. I had my trainer and she was great and it was awesome and I got good results. But me going in person with her and me training, I was lifting 15 pounds and now I'm doing 65, 75, 85 just in a few short months. And so I think it's just the difference of like, I do believe that what we invest in can shorten the runway for us as well, but also making sure we're not just dabbling in small dabbles too. Like it's just this interesting dynamic, but I'm like, look at the most successful people. They hire great coaches, they execute on it, they hire the team that they need to do, and they just consistently will move forward. And I think back to even some of our startup doctors that bought a practice. We have several that are doing ridiculously well. They jumped in, they paid in full for their consulting at the top tier. But I also think it's because they burned the boats and they were committed, they were locked in of like, I'm going to get the ROI from this. So I think there's also a mental game to it too. And so looking at yourself of who are you, start with something small or jump in and be like, no, I need to commit to this. Like I love to freaking scare myself. I love like Tony Robbins this year was so much like I pay stupid amounts of money for it. Like and it's not stupid amounts of money. It's $150,000 that I pay for Tony's coaching. And yet the ROI I get, but like I love to do it because I love to scare myself of like, all right, I'm going to write this check. I'm going to pay in full. And then I'm going to force myself to find a way to make that ROI up. I don't put that on Tony. I put that on me. Like he's got the tools I need to implement and execute. And if I don't, that's on me. And so I also think sometimes like it is the mental thing with the lawn. You better freaking believe I was like, I am hoping this pays Jason off. And then when Jason saw it, he started to think of what is his hourly and what things is he doing that he could outsource to someone else to free up his time for it. Now, the flip side is, well, Jason would argue with me, but I like mowing the lawn and I like doing these house projects and I enjoy doing that. And I would say, fine, pick one that you enjoy and the rest, let's look for who we can outsource that to, who we can leverage to, who we can collaborate with. You don't always necessarily have to hire someone. You could just delegate and use your like resources like we do with our consultants with Tiffany with the newsletters more efficiently. And so I think within a practice, have it. And also office managers, look at your time. Could you outsource to billing? Could you outsource to an HR company? And when you look at your hourly, don't forget to tack on your insurance that you're getting, your PTO that you're getting, like all the different pieces, your 401k benefits, because your hourly is actually probably more than what you think your hourly is. So let's not forget that too, because for outsourced people, like a consultant, like an HR company, like a biller, you're not paying the insurance on them. You're not paying the 401k on them. You're not paying for them to take time off. None of those things are coming out of your pocket. So looking at that as well, I think are really great ways. So if I was you listening today, one, I'd read the book. I think it's a good read, Buy Back Your Time, whichever one you jive with. I think they're pretty similar notions, but I think they just speak of it in a little bit different. One, you've got to know your dollar per hour. What is that? And then go through your tasks, write down all your tasks, and then maybe put a dollar amount of if you could outsource this to someone. And if you don't know, Google it. But like I said, like these outsourced companies are going to be cheaper than what you're doing for the most part. Maybe not always, but like, could you look for someone to come clean your house for you once a month or once every other week? And so like it knocks it down and allows you to have the space to work on your business and grow that more. Could you find someone to do your yard service for you? Could you find someone to teach your team for you? Could you find resources for your team? Could you look for a different HR company? Could you reduce costs somewhere? Like there's so many different options. And what I love about these kind of books is when you expand your brain, you're able to actually do a lot more than you thought. And like we said at the beginning, I think don't forget the mental real estate of researching, figuring it out. So if you already know great people there, execute, grow. And then during that time, even ask those people. So like I'm thinking about coaches. I asked Tony Robbins, like, who do you know? And one of our great coaches this year came from my network within Tony Robbins because now I'm not having to research. I just ask brilliant people of who do you know? And that's why I love our community is whatever question you have, there's a doctor who's done it somewhere, who knows, who can give you the resources for it. Now you don't have to spend the research. All you have to do is send one message in our group. They'll tell you exactly where it is. The consultants are there and working with hundreds and hundreds. Like we're talking 600, 700 practices. We have some pretty good resources available. Let's cut that timeline down for you and execute really quickly. So Britt, those are kind of my takeaways from it. Any others that you had? I'm obviously a proponent for this. And Britt, you know that because on a week that you guys are gone, I just get a lot done. And you're like, Kiera, I know. You think of who you can delegate to. Who do you know? Who could we send this to? And you're able to get a lot done in a short amount of time. But I really do think that this is a powerful, powerful exercise if you want to get more done with your life with less stress, more ease, and go further, faster, rather than trying to like muscle through the entire thing.
Yeah. And I think also realizing what things are your time sucks, because I think often we can get stuck in doing the things that are simple and easy for us because it's just routine. And so sometimes those can be the hard ones to delegate or get rid of or outsource to someone else, even though those are low-hanging fruit items. So even kind of asking ourselves sometimes, am I just using this as a distraction from the things that are most important for me to get done? If you are, then that's something that if you can delegate or outsource, it should probably be delegated or outsourced so you can focus on the most important.
And a good way to look at that, I think, Britt, brilliant, is look at what task you're doing first thing in the morning. And most of the time, if we are not delegating efficiently or effectively or hiring people or utilizing the people around us, we're usually starting with low-level tasks in the morning because it's easy. And the reality is the gunners, the practices who do the best, the CEOs that are really cranking, they're hitting their top, like highest value. I'm working at the top of my degree, is what Jason's clinic says with all their doctors. Like, you should be working at the top of your degree first thing in the morning, cranking things that are moving and pushing you forward. And if you're not, I think that's a really great area because it's easy to feel productive by being busy, when the reality is being productive means we're moving forward exponentially consistently. So look to see, are we busy or are we moving forward on the things that really push us forward? And if not, can we get rid of some of those other things? Can we hire people? Can we help other people train us? I think are really good ways to look at this.
Mm-hmm.
So for you guys, read the book. It was a super fun book. I enjoy topics like this. I enjoy it. And also, truly, look to see your hourly. I know a lot of people get nervous about consulting. Consultants can be scary. The ROI, all the different pieces. But I guarantee, I can stamp my hat on this. Every single client we have ever worked with, we run the numbers, we watch it. Your consulting is guaranteed to be covered with what we're able to add to your practice, reducing your overhead, fixing your billing in your systems. But in addition to that, you're happier, you're less stressed. Yes, it's a two-way street. You have to show up to the game. Just like I said, I can't blame Tony of like, I didn't get $150,000 of value. That's on me. Like, I got to make sure I'm showing up to the game as well. If we're doing our part, which I promise you, we are experts in this field, but we can shorten your runway. We can give you back time in your life. We can train your team for you. We can help rally the team, figure out the shortcuts to it, find the solutions for you. I'd love you to be a part of that. So reach out, hello@thedentaleteam.com. Like I said, whether it's virtual or it's in person, we've got the solutions for you. We've got the experts on our team. And truly, every client, I heard from a client last night. He was like, Kiera, since signing up with you, my life is so much better. The team is doing so much better. I have more time to go play tennis, which was his ultimate goal when he signed up with us. And so really, it's crazy. Like, buy your life back. You deserve that. You worked hard. Live the life that you were destined to have. Reach out. hello@thedentaleteam.com. Thanks for book clubbing with us. Next month, we will podcast on deep work. Rules for focused success in a distracted world, which I think is absolutely a perfect pairing to what we just talked about today. So you're focused on those really hard projects that move the company forward, delegating those lower tasks that you can to people that are not at the top of their hourly rate. Buy your time back. Save yourself the headache. Who, not how. It's a great time. Britt, thanks for podcasting with me. I always enjoy a good book club with you.
Absolutely. And I'll just add, you can sign up for the newsletter on our website. So thedentaleteam.com, scroll down, easy as clicking a button.
Amazing. There you go. Britt found it. Amazing. Our marketing team is doing great. Good job, marketers. And for all of you, thank you for listening. I hope to see you in 2025. I hope you invest in yourself. I hope you shorten your runway. I hope you decide, like, it is time to stop the insanity and let's execute and do something different. Let's do it. Let's thrive in 2025 instead of just barely survive. And as always, thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time on the Dental Team Podcast.